Good morning everyone, my name is Michelle. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to another video. It is Thursday morning. I had to think then. Yeah, it's definitely Thursday. So in this video I want to talk about Nicola Bulley briefly, but in the main I want to talk about the search for Peter Baglin. Alright, so let's start with Nicola. And I know people are getting sick of me putting videos out about Nicola Bulley, because of course her family are grieving, but there's still a lot of misinformation out there that just keeps coming out. So I want to just make this statement to be very clear, very clear. Nicola Bulley's death is not being investigated as a homicide. It's not being investigated as a criminal investigation. Can we be clear on that? It's probably the most frequent comment that I get in my comment section. Even on older videos, I'm getting comments saying things like, wait until the autopsy results, wait until the investigation's complete. I get it. We do need to wait for the inquest to find out the cause and manner of death. And the inquest is scheduled for the 26th of June. However, this is not being investigated as a criminal investigation, and here's why. Now, I talked about this in my live stream that I did a week ago now, and I've been directing people to this live stream, but it's an hour and 20 minutes long. People might not fancy sitting through 1 hour and 20 minutes, so I'll say this as quickly and as plainly as I can. Now, this is what Lancashire Police shared after the inquest was opened last Wednesday, I think it was. Please see a statement from HM Senior Coroner for Lancashire and Blackburn with Darwen, Dr. James Adley. An inquest into the death of Nicola Bulley has been opened by His Majesty's Senior Coroner for Lancashire and Blackburn with Darwen. The coroner has ruled that her body could be released for a family funeral. It's much less likely that her body would have been released so quickly to her family. She was found on the Sunday. Her identity was confirmed on Monday using dental records. And then on Wednesday, the inquest was opened by Dr. James Adley. And he's the most senior coroner in Lancashire. He is overseeing Nicola's case. The coroner's investigation will consider how Miss Bulley came by her death. The investigation will take time to complete to ensure that a complete picture as possible of the facts concerning Miss Bulley's death is presented at the inquest. This will assist the family in understanding what occurred. As part of this process, His Majesty's Senior Coroner has requested Lancashire Constabulary produce information gathered during the search for Miss Bulley so it can be considered as part of the investigation. And all of that is completely normal. If there is a death that requires an inquest, any death that requires an inquest, then of course the coroner is going to want to see what the police have, right? But it doesn't mean to say that this is a homicide. Let's not get things twisted here. Whilst His Majesty's Senior Coroner considers this information, Lancashire Constabulary has been asked by the coroner not to discuss the case in either social media or the mainstream media. So the police are not addressing the things that are being said because they can't. The coroner's put a gag order on them, right? So we know that the inquest is going to be the 26th of June at 10 a.m. at County Hall, Fishergate, Preston. Okay, so let's be very clear what the purpose of an inquest is. An inquest has been opened because Nicola's death is unexplained, it was sudden, it was most likely not natural causes, so an inquest is required. So the case was referred to the coroner. The coroner considers the information and decides whether an inquest is required. So that's what the coroner has done, and the inquest has been opened. There's now an investigative process and the inquest date has been scheduled. Now, why is this not a criminal investigation? Because the coroner's handling it. Let that sink in. A coroner's court is not a criminal court. For more details, go and see this live stream. The coroner can either request more information and opens a preliminary investigation, or decide there and then that an inquest is required. The inquest is opened and adjourned for further investigations. That's exactly the result of last Wednesday's hearing. If the investigation or inquest is opened, usually a post-mortem, also called an autopsy, is performed, which has been done. She's been identified and her body has been released to her family. So there is no way that they'd release a body from someone who had an unexplained death back to the family if a thorough autopsy and tissue samples and so on and so forth had not been gathered. Rest assured, an autopsy has been done and the coroner knows this is not a criminal investigation. If a post-mortem shows an inquest is not necessary, the family is informed and the process concludes. So we know that we're going on to point 5 here, and it's point 5 that I want you to listen to. If an inquest is necessary, the coroner reviews and decides. 1. If a referral to CPS, Crown Prosecution Service, is needed for a possible criminal prosecution. Has this case been referred back to the police? No. We've heard from Lancashire Constabulary that the coroner wants information from them. So the coroner's handling it. The case has not been given back to the police and the CPS for criminal investigation and eventual prosecution. The coroner does not handle criminal matters. The coroner's court is not a criminal court. If there was any shade of a doubt that Nicola's death was by homicide, the coroner at this point last Wednesday would have referred it back to the police and the CPS. If no criminal issues, fixes timetable and calls for evidence. That's exactly what the coroner did last Wednesday. This is not a criminal investigation. The autopsy's been complete. I bet the coroner knows the cause and manner of death, but they have to go through that investigative process and that has to be concluded. So the fact that a timetable has been scheduled, the fact that her body has been released back to the family, tells us this is not a homicide investigation. So please go and watch this live stream if you want more details on it. I answered a lot of questions in that live stream. Please go and watch it. If you're confused, if you're not sure, if you've heard some misinformation to the contrary, please listen to what I'm saying. All right, let's move on now to the search for Peter Baglin. And there's been some interesting developments in this case. So this came out yesterday. Volunteer water search teams offer to help trace missing Peter Baglin as social media detectives emerge online. Kind-hearted volunteer water search teams have offered a hand in the ongoing efforts to trace missing Salford grandad Peter Baglin. The 55-year-old from Boothstown vanished 9 weeks ago after going out for an evening walk on December 28th. He was last seen on CCTV in a local petrol station on the East Lancs Road buying a small bottle of whiskey. Since Peter's sudden disappearance, police and the local community have undertaken huge search operations, including in the Bridgewater Canal and woodland near his home, and much further afield. To this date, there has still been no confirmed sightings or leads, leaving his heartbroken wife and family in turmoil. And, as was seen in the case of tragic mum Nicola Bulley, who went missing in Lancashire before her body was pulled out from the River Wyre, self-proclaimed social media detectives have emerged, sharing their own views on what they believe may have happened to Peter in YouTube videos and comments. In one video uploaded to YouTube, one user called the case of missing Peter Baglin strange and shared their own suspicion that they believe a third party may have been involved. Nothing's off the table though, is it? I mean, this is a fine line. There's a fine line between being responsible in the way that you approach YouTube or other social media, and then there is the conspiracy theories that get tons of views, who attract a lot of attention. I don't know whether they really believe what they're saying or whether it's literally just for views. I have no idea. But It upsets families. It potentially distracts from the real facts of the case. We've seen this again and again and again in Nicola Bulley's case. Look, this is why I've made this video this morning. Like, just going through once again that Nicola's case is not a criminal investigation. But it's a fine line, and Peter's case is strange. It is a strange disappearance. Lancashire police have previously slammed a number of TikTok sleuths regularly seen filming near the location of where Nicola Bulley was last seen, who had shared conspiracies in posts online. It has prompted police to implement dispersal orders in the area and council chiefs to slam acts of social media idiocy. Speaking to the Manchester Evening News, Michelle Baglin, who has been with husband Pete for almost 30 years, said the emerging online speculation was not helpful, but that she has already been at the receiving end of numerous vile comments online. These people say they are social media detectives, but it hasn't sat well with me, and it's not helpful at all. It's giving false information like there was possibly a third party involved, she said. It's very inappropriate and just fuels more speculation. I don't like the implications, but I've already had this stuff on Facebook. Previously, wife Michelle told the Manchester Evening News that she had been forced to read messages from trolls online, with people writing that her husband may be cheating or he doesn't want to be found. I said in my last video that included information on Peter Baglin that police checked his phone, his social media, his emails, and there's no indication whatsoever, none, absolutely none, that Peter was having an affair or was planning to run away to have a new life, either with someone else or on his own. The police have looked into all of that. In the days following Peter's disappearance, a number of his belongings were found close to the embankment of the Bridgewater Canal on Vickers Hall Lane. His hat, phone, bank cards, tobacco, house keys and headphones have been recovered and are with police. People have asked me a really sensible question here. Were all the items together, like, in a pile, or were they dispersed, which would indicate maybe they fell out of a pocket or a bag or something and Peter was moving quickly? Or were they placed together? I don't know the answer to that, but it's a very good question. Here, now we get to this major update. A voluntary search underwater search team beneath the surface, based in Lancashire, stepped in to offer further help on Tuesday, February 28th. They contacted Michelle to offer their assistance in the ongoing search using high-frequency sonar technology to scour around 3 miles of the Bridgewater Canal. But that search did not indicate a body. A spokesperson for Beneath the Surface team said, "We heard about Peter being missing via our Facebook page, and with being a voluntary underwater sonar search team called Beneath the Surface based locally in CHORLEY, Lancashire, we contacted the family privately to tell them who we are and offer our assistance. Their voluntary group, completely self-funded and operating in their personal time along with full-time jobs. They've been operating for 2 years and travel the whole of the country. We began as a group of friends, sonar scanning and scuba diving to locate objects until we saw a family raising money for a private team to search for a missing loved one, and we felt a family going through such trauma shouldn't have to pay for a search of their loved one." Regarding Peter, we searched an approximate 3-mile stretch of water with the location Peter's belongings were located being central, along with specific areas of concern for the family that were requested to us, including the marina. Underwater searching is always difficult, especially in marinas, and we can never give a 100% guarantee on any search. However, to the best of our ability, all we located was tyres, logs, a fence panel and other general waste that from the dimensions didn't indicate a possible person. We at Beneath the Surface thank the family for their faith in us with such an important matter and continue to hope for the best possible outcome. Peter, who works at Salford Royal Hospital along with wife Michelle, was last seen wearing navy-coloured joggers, walking shoe-type trainers and a grey mountain equipment hoodie with a red zip and a hat. He is described as 5'10", grey hair, a tattoo on the left side of his neck saying Michelle. He is wearing his wedding ring. And Beneath the Surface, who are located in CHORLEY, Lancashire, have a Facebook page right here. Voluntary underwater sonar search and recovery dive team based in Lancashire, cleaning UK waterways, mapping lakes and fisheries, locating lost property and assisting in searches for missing people. And here they are talking about assisting the family of Peter Baglin. Today we have been in Greater Manchester assisting a family looking for a missing loved one. It was an honour to receive their request and trust in helping them with such an important matter. We can never give 100% guarantee. So they're not saying he's not in the water, he's not in the canal. They're saying they cannot guarantee 100% that he isn't there. But to the best of our ability, and after covering a large stretch of water, so the Manchester Evening News said 3 miles, the only objects we located were logs, tyres, a fence panel and other items of general waste. We wish the family all the best through this difficult time and hope for the best possible outcome for them. So this is one of his family members here. Today the canal and marina were searched, but these absolutely generous, caring, wonderful, thoughtful gentlemen, they don't get paid for this. They do it from the goodness of their hearts. The outcome was my dad is not in there. Brilliant. Now we need to find where he is. We as a family are struggling with this. My children want their granddad back to annoy all the time, and we want his baked cakes back, especially the chocolate ones, the kids say. We as a family thank every single one of you that are helping from the bottom of our hearts. It's nice to know there are some lovely people left in this shitty world we live in. It's horrible. Is Peter in there and he's been missed by sonar? To the best of their ability, teams using sonar can never give 100% guarantee. You know, bodies can get trapped under things. It then doesn't look like a body. I don't know, you guys. I don't know. But 3 miles either side of where his belongings are found is a long way out in a canal. I don't know. What a complete mystery. What a complete mystery. All right, guys, that's it for now. I'll bid you farewell. It's goodbye from Miss Tillington and Miss Cassie Springer. And of course, let me know what you think about these cases in the comments below. Bye, guys.